starting from the very fucking beginning. In the beginning, there was Grey, and the age of the everlasting dragons. Among these dragons was a scientist named Seath. Seath, either through natural means or an experiment, lost his scales to lightning damage, and he realized that dragons were not immortal so long as their scales were peeled off with lightning. He went to the other dragons, and they did not believe him. In their arrogance, they believed themselves immortal, and Seath a mutant, a mutation, and so began referring to him as Seath the Scaless. In this betrayal, Seath decided to betray them, and during the dragon wars with the gods, went to Gwen and said, "Hey, lightning damage." Gwen's like, "Good shit, Seath." That's when the war turned. That's when Seath and his men, or Gwen and his men, started to completely destroy dragons. But it was still a fight, even after they peeled off their scales. That's how men like Havel rose to power. Because when dragons died, when a dragon died, Havel went up to the dragon, stole the dragon's tooth, the weapon you are using now,
roar,
and basically beat the dragons to death, because the dragons were no longer immortal at that point in time, but they were still a threat. They could still fight, they just weren't immortal anymore. In the same way that we can fight Seath, and he's still kind of a beast to fight, as long as it's not two of us.
Yeah.
So, Havel became known as Gwen's battlefield compatriot, because Gwen was staying in the back, using his lightning to peel off the stone scales, while men like Havel and his 4 knights, Goff, Artorius, Cian? I can't really pronounce it too well.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
And Ornstein went and actually fought the dragons.
Got a point. No, they're everything. Oh, you barely missed it. Damn thing. Alright. Yeah. All the shit ahead of us is dead.
Right. So,
up until where we were.
The reason I believe Seath betrayed the dragons isn't so that Gwen could rule, but so that he could rule. Seath had joined up with the Primordial Serpents, namely Kath, maybe Frampt, I can't say for certain. I'll need more evidence on that conspiracy theory. And basically said, I want to rule the world, I want to rule the cycle. Primordial Serpents, who have been shown to be the keepers of the cycle, basically said, okay, but you need to get back into the cycle of Grey. So to do that, the Age of Light has to end. And he wants the world to go back into darkness. Now. So that, so they can go into the Grey so that he can take over. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me! No, it's legit, just follow me.
The fuck are these things? Ah, shit! I don't know where you went. I lost you.
I'm up top. I'm up top. Turn.
Where? Oh, there. There. Okay. Kill that pinwheel-looking motherfucker. Ah! I got 1,000 souls. Run! The little baby skeleton's coming after us.
I asked you how you felt about murdering babies.
Ooh, shite.
Why wouldn't everything be on fire, Nichols? Mollies.
Oh, I thought he had dropped something. Soul of a hero. Fuck yeah. Watch out so I can get past. Oh, I'm ahead of you. Going through the wall that is white and foggy.
Okay.
You looked epic as fuck.
Pull out Grant. Grant. No, pull out Grant now.
Oh shit, I don't
And this
have
is
the stats to wield it apparently. I need 50
faith,
strength
am I
and
right?
30 faith.
30 faith. Good job, Nicholas. We're proud of you.
I can't even use it two-handed. Well, I can, but
Okay.
hold up.
You know,
Yeah,
it
it's
won't do
gonna get
damage. Not with the faith. So go ahead and switch back to the dragon tooth. We'll just murder the scalies on our own repeatedly.
Okay. But yeah, continue with your theory real fast.
Okay. So, Seath is doing all the experiments to try to give himself scales, to give himself immortality. Instead, he finds a primordial crystal. Now, we move the age forward. Seath becomes immortal, but to move the age forward, the Age of Dark has to come. Age of Light needs to end. So to kickstart this, Ka speaks with the residents of Ulasil and says, hey, go dig up Manus, the primeval man, keeper of the Dark Soul. Like the original Dark Soul. So they do that. But the only reason they do that, the only reason they betray Gwyn, is because their beloved princess, Princess Dusk of Ulasil, is kidnapped, and Koth blames Gwyn. And they believe him, somehow. He's a serpent. So, you know, serpent-tongued, right? But we find Princess Dusk of Ulasil trapped inside of a crystal golem, hidden behind a hydra, another imperfect dragon. We know this because he drops a dragon scale, who's also protected by other crystal golems. Seath is the one who kidnapped Princess Dusk of Ulasil, and it was Koth, whom he's working with, who convinced the people of Ulasil to turn against the light and try to bring about the Age of Dark. It did not work because one of Gwyn's 4 knights, Artorias, basically said, I'm too badass for this shit, went there and calmed the fuckers down. Well, sort of. That's how the legend goes. But in the DLC, we'll find out what really happens.
Yay!
Ignoring that, and stepping off the side of that, like all of that's basically right there, we find Havel, or a man in Havel's armor, in my theory, a member of the Havel Corps, inside the basement of a watchtower. This watchtower is right next to the crystal golems, and the Hydra, and Princess Dusk. I believe Havel was setting up for an assault, to try to prove to the people of Ulasil that Princess Dusk was perfectly fine, and it was Seath who did it, and that would convince Gwyn to turn against the dragon. Havel never trusted the dragon because 1, he hates dragons, and 2, if you look at his armor, stuff I'm wearing, it's built to go against magic, the thing that Seath uses more than anything.
And it's made of dragon scales.
And you use dragon scales to buff up his weapon, which is a dragon tooth.
Coincidence?
But
I think not.
Seath finds out. I'm picturing like this whole FBI, CIA conspiracy, you know, all of that bullshit going on right now, because Seath finds out that what Havel's planning and convinces Gwyn that it's Havel's the traitor, and does so by having an occult club placed on one of his men. So Gwyn finds the occult club, and we know Seath did the occult club because we find the occult club inside the painted world of Ariamis, which houses Seath's daughter, Priscilla, and is right next to a blacksmith that is turned to stone. And what does Seath's crystal do when you fight him in the boss fight?
Curses you.
It petrifies you, turns you to stone. So, you had the occult ember, made the occult club, planted on one of his channelers probably did. Given that they can teleport, they could probably get into Havel's men's room rather easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Planted on him, convinced Gwyn that Havel's a traitor, or at least Havel's men was, and so Gwyn believed him because he found the occult club, the thing that can damage the gods, and was going to have the man executed by Smough, the man whose armor you're wearing. But Havel had an idea. Havel had an idea. He knew where Princess Dusk was and said, he's my man, I'll execute him. And took him off and hid him in the watchtower, and the man was hid in the watchtower by a dear friend for his own good, as the watchtower key says. Because had he not done that, Smough would have killed him and would have because most
I'm
kind of
nom
stupid
noms.
that way. Now, what happened to Havel after that, I can't speak, because we find Seath but no Havel, and Gwyn is gone. Now, was Havel fully exiled? Was he turned into a mimic? Because we found the occult club inside of a mimic, right?
Yes.
Or does Havel survive all the way to Dark Souls 3, where you fight him in the Dragon Sanctuary in front of that dead dragon? And at that point, he has to be fully hollow, because Havel, for as great as he is still just a human.
Mhm.
And the curse will overtake him eventually. That's basically it. Did I miss anything? Oh, the pendant. So yeah, Manus goes completely nuts because he lost his pendant. But where do we find the pendant? Inside of a crystal golem in the Duke's archives, tying Seath, an immortal, practically, to that time period, and involved in the events. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my theory as to the relationship between Havel and Seath, and why everything is going to shit right now. Because Seath wants power. When the Age of Grey comes around, Seath will be the oldest dragon, and he will basically raise the new generation of dragons as they become older and immortal as well. And he will rule.
Or at least he would have, if we didn't kill him.
Yep. We kind of killed him. We kind of destroyed him.
Fucked his plans up good.
We did.
And neither one of us was wearing Havel armor. Frowny face.
Not at the time. Although I have killed him using Havel armor and the Havel and the Dragon Tooth. Just because I wanted to. Like full Havel armor, Dragon Tooth, like, hi Seath! Wanted to give him a bit of a heart attack. Alright.
Hi, buddy!
You wanna go? Hello. As they say, rise the sun.
Continue! Down the path.
Yeah, and Havel was a bishop. In case people don't know, Havel's a bishop. And is involved in Dark Souls 2. I think Havel survived all the way to Dark Souls 2 at the very least, because in an area called Shrine of Amana, you find enemies called the Archbishops. And the Archbishops have a helmet very similar to Havel's. See the little crest on it? And the way it rises up in the front? Yeah. They have a helm inspired, it looks almost exactly like this. So I think Havel survived and continued to spread his ministry as a bishop.
Which means he would have made it all the way to the next cycle.
At least.
Because doesn't Dark Souls 2 make it... Yeah, Dark Souls 2 is the next cycle, and then Dark Souls 3 is the cycle after, isn't it?
Supposedly, yes. That's the way it works.
Okay. Figured.
At least from what I can tell. I may be wrong on that. Someone could be yelling at you right now on Twitch, being like, no, that's not true, typing away about how much they know about everything, and... That's just, once again, that's just my theory. A Dark Souls theory.
That's okay. I'm probably going to trim that little part out and throw it into YouTube's. Take point, my good man. YouTube.
Me?
Dark Souls theory of Havel.
Yay. I don't want to go down.
I don't want to either.
Oh.
You're a fucking genius. Tell me how much damage that does.
Not about a little under a third. But don't drop down. Do not drop down here. So not until I get my shit good.
Does Nito spawn when I drop?
To roll, he does.
Shit. Alright. Ready?
Okay. I'm gonna pop it. I'm good to go. Now, when you hear people screaming, you'll hear like, it sounds like a woman screaming, or like setting up to scream, right?
Mm-hmm.
When that's happening, Nito's doing a distance move where he will stab the ground, and then an ethereal blade will shoot up out of the ground and into your ass.
Oh, God.
Alright. And good to go.
Dropping.
Oh no, that's... And whenever Havel, or whenever been saying Havel so much lately.
Yeah.
Whenever Nito like kind of like curls in on himself and faces the ground, he's about to do an explosion, like a serious explosion.
Like,
you can block
run
it
to the
with
other
a proper
side.
shield. Not straight to the other side. I would say about 40 to 50 feet in-game feet away from him.
Okay. You engage him while I get redressed.
That's one. Did you actually get that weapon?
I've seen it.
Wow, that did damage to you, man. Come on, you immortal.
Oh, shit, he noticed me.
I'm up. He sees me. I'm down.
I'm up. He sees me. I'm down. Oh, shite.
Okay.
What?
That happened.
Hey, are you
He
sure
did the
they
thing I
come
was
back?
talking to you about.
Oh.
Don't go all the way. Don't meet him. Don't meet him. Don't meet him. Come back. Come back. Come back. 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 Back.
Coming back.
Because there's 3 giant skeletons over there, and they also don't die, and we don't need to deal with that while dealing with him. So I can keep these guys on lock while you fight Nito, or I can fight Nito and you keep these guys on lock.
You fight Nito.
Okay, I'll fight Nito. Come on, Nito. You're real Nito, you know that? You're real Nito like a Cheeto burrito. He's an explosion. Run away.
Running him back. I might get hit. Yeah, I got hit. Just barely, though. Not enough to
dead?
significantly
Okay,
hurt. Hey, yo, bitch.
You might want to heal. Just so you know, you might want to keep your health up in this fight.
Yeah, I was planning on it.
What are you gonna do, Nito? What are you gonna do? No, genuinely, what are you gonna do? Explosion.
It's gonna, yeah.
You're too close.
He got
I'll be
me.
honest with
Yeah,
you.
he got me. He got me. I got kind of wall trapped. Oh shit! Don't look at me, Nito.
Oh, I can't hit his cloak. That's cool. I have to attack him from the front.
Oh, I
he
can
just
hit
killed
him
his
from
own
any
dude.
direction I want.
Yeah, because your weapon's clipping through the cloak. Mine's not. Kill him.
One more hit, bitch. His bitch ass is dead.
sun.
Only 3,500? Oh, he hasn't completely died yet. Lord Soul defeats Gravelord Nito. Humanity in the Sunlight Medal. There's that 60,000 I wanted. Alright.
Remember that area I told you that Paladin Leroy would be sitting?
Yeah.
If you killed him? Yeah, go there, because you've got him.
I'm looking for him.
You got his armor now.
I'm gonna light the bonfire first. There he is.
Okay.
I see his ass. Doot, 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 doot. Now I see why it says armor.
Oh,
Paladin
you
helm,
just
armor, gauntlet, and leggings. What's up?
Yeah. You may need to splice this part in with the Dark Souls theory thing, because I just remembered one of the flaws with the argument that I had to think about.
Okay, what was it?
If Seath the Scaless is trying to usher in the Age of Dark, you need to kill Gwyn to do that. To get to Gwyn, you have to put souls in a Lord vessel to open up the final door. To do that, you need the soul that Gwyn gave Seath. Gwyn gave Seath a part of his own soul. It's called the Bequeathed Lord Soul. Now, to answer that question, or to answer that little hiccup, I put it down to Seath just not understanding how souls work. Being a dragon, he just wouldn't understand.
Because he doesn't have to fuck with him.
So, all he sees is some dude comes into his house. He doesn't know that you're doing your thing. He's just sitting there waiting for the Age of Light to end, which it will eventually naturally. He doesn't expect you to escape his prison. He doesn't expect you to get down to the crystal that makes him immortal. He doesn't expect to fight you. He just expects you to walk into his door. Or he doesn't expect you to do that. He just sees you walk into his door, and then he expects to kill you, and then turn you into one of his crystal soldiers. Really, crystal hollow people.
Yeah.
So, that's what I put that on. Like, that's why he fights you. Because, not because you're trying to get his soul, but because you're trying to destroy the crystal that makes him immortal. And that's what he's defending.